Become the back-to-school champion parent with a Sagicor Bank unsecured loan.
The time by Sagicor Bank is
Tonight in CVM News at 7, Press Association condemns politicization of journalists ahead of debates. Decision 2025, Nomination Day grips Jamaica. Infrastructure remains a consistent concern for the electorate. And in sports, Jamaica ends NACAC championships with 25 medals. From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7. It's Monday, August 18, 2025. I'm Nika Lewis. Thanks so much for joining us. 189 candidates were nominated across the 63 constituencies today to contest the September 3 general elections. We'll have team coverage across the island momentarily. But first, there's condemnation tonight from the Press Association of Jamaica over what it calls unprecedented disclosure by both political parties of their objections to specific journalists serving as questioners or moderators for the upcoming national debates. On Sunday, the Jamaica Debates Commission wrote to both political parties expressing disappointment that the names of journalists were published, breaching the confidentiality agreement. President of the Press Association, Dashan Hendricks, told CVM News the disclosures undermine the negotiation process and raise troubling questions.
For the first time ever in Jamaica's history, we're having a debate, and the names of journalists who have been thought about to participate in that debate have been released publicly, even before some of those journalists were contacted by the Jamaica Debates Commission. And that brings us some amount of concern at the PAJ.
The PAJ says historically, such matters have been handled discreetly and internally by the Jamaica Debates Commission to safeguard the integrity, independence, and impartiality essential to the democratic process. The association says this alarming development threatens to erode the independence and integrity of the press by politicizing the role of journalists.
We must hold up their authority to ensure some amount of transparency and fairness in the selection of the journalists who are going to be in that pool and not be influenced by political parties. Yes, they may have a say, but they don't get to select who gets on that panel to question the debaters in the national debates.
Mr. Hendricks says the political parties must reassert their commitment to respecting and upholding the freedom of the press. The first of the 3 national debates will take place this Saturday, August 23, about social issues. The second debate will be about the economy on Tuesday, August 26. The series will end with the leadership debate between Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness and Opposition Leader Mark Golding on Thursday, August 28. All debates will be staged at the Creative Productions and Training Center in Kingston and will be live on CVM TV. In the meantime, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness was asked about both political parties objecting to the inclusion of some journalists for the national debates. Expressing what he says were his personal views, Dr. Holness says, quote, political parties do not have the luxury of choosing who interrogates them.
The PNP is exuding a certain arrogance that the people of Jamaica should read very carefully. I find it to be totally anti-democratic, and it's a bit of hypocrisy because they talk about supporting the press, but the evidence of their action is to be seen.
In the meantime, following his nomination in West Central St. Andrew today, CVM's Curlin Brown asked the Prime Minister what would happen if his party loses the general election 16 days from now.
Parties are committed to winning. What if on the day your party comes out on the losing end?
Look, when you go into any campaign, you prepare to win, you prepare to lose. Right now, we have worked very hard. There's no question about that. The PNP cannot contest us on performance. So if you go by the logic that Jamaicans are logical people, reasonable people, and they will vote on performance.
The leader of the People's National Party and South St. Andrew Member of Parliament, Mark Golding, was officially nominated today. He arrived to much fanfare with supporters turning out in their numbers. Raymond Morrison has more in this report.
And on a net favourability basis, I'm significantly ahead of Andrew Holness because he has such a high unfavourability rating. I think the momentum is definitely with the People's National Party, coming out of the publishing of our manifesto and all of the ideas that we have in there, and there's a little more to come as well in due course with that.
Well, the buzz of nomination day continues this time in St. Andrew Eastern, where candidates officially threw their hats into the political ring. Our reporter there, Akeem Aret, files this report.
Cheers, flags and chants. It was all excitement and energy in St. Andrew Eastern on nomination day. The roadway along Mona High School was painted in green and orange as both the Jamaica Labour and People's National Party signalled readiness for the polls. Just after 10 Tuesday morning, Patricia Duncan Sutherland, who last vied for Clarendon South Eastern, roped in hoping to change the colour of the constituency. As she marched her way to the nomination area, she was supported by husband, sisters and PNP stalwart Beverly Manley Duncan. Though contending in a hot seat, she says her chances of securing the seat are strong.
I think my chances are very good, but nothing to be taken for granted. So we're working right up until 5 o'clock on September 3rd, and then we're going to jump up and see. Yes, because time comes.
Marching on a road that's not strange to her, it's where her parents lived. She did not hold back. Sutherland has accused the Jamaica Labour Party of using money to sway Jamaicans to the polls.
We know that the Jamaica Labour Party, they generally run a campaign where they come in at the end with a whole heap of money and things to try to sway the voters. And in a country where things are tough and times are tough, because it has not been run in a way that people can really manage themselves, it might be easy for them, or it might be an opportunity for them to sway the voter with a little bit of money for them just home.
Fast forward to 12:30 Tuesday afternoon. Finance Minister and two-term Member of Parliament for the constituency, Favour Williams, entered the chat with the Labourites. Her entourage included her past PNP contender in the 2020 election, Venetia Phillips, and wife of the former Prime Minister Hugh Shearer, Denise Shearer, and other GLP supporters. Heading for her third term, Williams says the feeling is nothing short of honoured.
It's really humbling because it says to you your work has been appreciated over the last 2 terms, and that's heartening for me. I want to continue to do the work that's there to be done.
Williams points to her track record, insisting that the work done over her 2 terms has transformed the constituency.
You walk into every single community, I can point to you something that I have done to better the community and to better people's lives, whether it be ensuring that their football field or netball court is upgraded, taking down zinc fence, roads that were not ever repaired, making sure that those are repaired. Still a lot of roads to be done.
Ending the nomination day on high energy, both candidates are now shifting their focus to the campaign trail. Akeem Aret, CVM News.
Meanwhile, amid growing concerns over the increase of the public sector workers' increments, Finance Minister Favour Williams is noting that the government of Jamaica is doing the best it can despite the dissatisfaction from teachers and other workers.
We are committed to doing the best that we can by public sector workers as best as the country can afford to do. You would have noticed as well, and the communication is out there, that for this fiscal year 25-26, we would have given the majority of the public sector workers 7.5% increase already. And it's not back money, it's for fiscal 25-26. But again, you can take assurance in the words of the Prime Minister that this nation will do the best that we can to provide for our public sector work.
Two separate collisions involving motorcyclists marred nomination day activities in St. Andrew Eastern. The first incident happened shortly after 11, involving a biker from the People's National Party's motorcade with the PNP candidate Patricia Duncan Sutherland shortly after she was nominated at the Mona High School. It's alleged that the biker crashed into a high-ace bus which was traveling in the same direction. The bus driver assisted in getting the injured man to hospital for treatment. Not long after, the other mishap occurred along Hope Road, directly across from the U.S. Embassy, involving another PNP supporter who collided with a Toyota Axio shortly after Jamaica Labour Party candidate Favour Williams completed her nomination. Fortunately, no injuries were reported in that incident. The Jamaica Constabulary Force is again reminding all road users to be cautious on the nation's roads. And the leader of the People's National Party and a South St. Andrew Member of Parliament, Mark Golding, was officially nominated today. He arrived to much fanfare and supporters turning out in their numbers. With the details, here's Raymond Morrison.
Not take anything for granted. Let us not assume a win already. We don't win yet. We will not win until every ballot is counted. Every vote has to count. And I'm asking each of you to make sure that on election day you come out and put your X squarely beside the head.
And that's the directive from the opposition leader as he was officially nominated Monday to contest the South St. Andrew seat. Golding arrived to cheers and celebrations, surrounded by supporters who turned out in their numbers to show solidarity. He will be facing the GLP's Carlton Jones. However, many see the seat as a secured one for the opposition leader. Given the history of St. Andrew Southern as a PNP stronghold, Golding notes that while he remains confident, democracy means every vote counts.
I respect of the right of the voters to make their choice. This is a democracy. Obviously, I'm confident and hopeful because I have an excellent team that helped me. Even though I have a lot of national duties, we try to keep the constituency organization very strong, and we don't take anything for granted. So we've been doing the work, and I have had the opportunity to do some walking in the constituency, not as much as I would have normally liked, but I've been as present as I could be, and I believe that we're going to get a good result.
And the party leader didn't miss the opportunity to reflect on the team's preparations over the last few years, highlighting efforts to strengthen his administration, which critics and citizens alike have classified as weak.
We have been spending the last several years strengthening the organization of the party and reconnecting with our base. We have a very considerable base, People's National Party. And if you look at what happened between 2011 and 2020, our numbers fell by 160,000. And we have basically spent time reconnecting and re-energizing that base, and they're ready to come out and vote for us and strengthening our organization.
And while Monday was about his nomination in South St. Andrew, Golding reminded supporters that his sights are set beyond a constituency victory.
I have to try my best to deliver a national victory, not just a constituency victory. So fortunately, the constituents, the voters, the residents are very understanding of that, and they like to see the way the party has been moving forward so powerfully in recent times. Everybody is very happy about that. So they give me the necessary flexibility so that I can acquit my responsibilities at the national level.
With nominations now complete, all eyes turn to September 3, where the real contest will be decided at the polls. Raymond Morrison, CVM News.
And as you learned, Mark Golding nominated today in South St. Andrew, setting his sights on both a constituency and a national win come September 3. Our reporter Raymond Morrison joins us now in studio to discuss Golding's favorability and how he stacks up against the Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Holness, in recent polls.
Thanks, Nika. And while today was about his nomination in South St. Andrew, Mark Goldin was also touched on his national standing, pointing to polls that show him almost tied with Prime Minister Andrew Holness in terms of favorability. Let's take a look.
And on a net favorability basis, I'm significantly ahead of Andrew Holness because he has such a high unfavorability rating. I think the momentum is definitely with the People's National Party, coming out of the publishing of our manifesto and all of the ideas that we have in there, and there's a little more to come as well in due course with that.
All right, so we heard about a poll. What are your thoughts based on what he shared with you, aside from what he shared in that bite?
So we've seen where some critics and the public, they've said that there's a case where Mark might be trying to be a little more relatable with citizens. And I feel like the poll, it might give him some form of confidence or edge, as some would put it, to say that, hey, you're connecting with citizens.
Based on what he just shared. And when you saw the crowds, it was your first time in that sort of setting.
Right.
What was it like for you as a young Jamaican looking on?
I'm happy you said young, because we've seen a trend now, or a pattern where more young people, they're open to voting and to just have a say in Jamaica's future. And a lot of people, whether it's PNP or JLP, they're coming out. A lot of Gen Zs, we're seeing them coming out, going to the polling station. But we won't really know until September 3 who really has a voter's ID to really cast that vote.
They always say crowds don't win elections. With that, thank you so much, Raymond. But with that, we take a break. More CVM News at 7 in a moment.
Message is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Since 2016, the National Housing Trust has been transforming the housing landscape in Jamaica. Over the past 9 years, the NHT has created more than 67,000 mortgages, started over 31,000 housing solutions, and completed more than 21,000 homes. Over that period, the Trust has invested more than 343 billion Jamaican dollars in expanding housing access and improving living conditions across the island. That is the largest expenditure on housing in Jamaica's history and in the history of the NHT.
This message is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Jamaica isn't just the land we love, this is the land we choose. Over the past 9 years, the Jamaica Labour Party has done more than any other government to make this country better for us all. This is no accident, this is action. The Jamaica Labour Party is doing more for you, and we're not done yet. We're doing more for the economy. No new taxes in 8 years, and more Jamaicans working than ever before. We're doing more for your security, ensuring we live in safer communities, plus more access to community health care and more reliable water. From transforming lives through education and training to providing real support for our women and elders. We're doing more for your future.
And with our tried and tested team, drive and commitment, we will deliver even more.
Stick with the proved results, not just promises. Put your X beside the bell.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Thanks so much for staying with us. Continuing on nomination day updates, the Jamaica Labour Party's candidate, Heroy Clark, and the PNP's Senator Janice Allen, who are both vying for the St. James Central seat, have been nominated. Carla Ramdeen has the details.
St. James Central is a fairly young seat. This is only the fourth general election since the seat was created ahead of the 2011 general election. The PNP won the first and the JLP won the last two. The PNP Janice Allen is seeking to even the score as she tries to trade up seats in the upper house for one in the lower house. She told CVM News that she's ready to tackle issues such as water supply and distribution if she's elected.
Currently, too many residents from Rose Heights, Rosemount, Farm Heights, South Spring, Flower Hill, all over the constituency have been in desperate need of consistent supply of water. And in 2025, it cannot be that this is such a major issue for so many people.
Allen, like the opposition leader Mark Golding, paid for her nomination ticket with $500 notes, explaining that they are appropriate for the occasion. The JLP's candidate, Roy Clark, is the incumbent, going for the hat-trick. Clark showed up in army fatigue. He said it is to show the people of St. James Central that the JLP is militant. When asked about the issue of water, Clark explains that the government has been tackling that issue and has broken ground for the Water Resilience Project, which is an initiative aimed at enhancing water security in Western Jamaica.
We do understand that we have a very old water system in Jamaica, not only, but in St. James in particular. And the Prime Minister, the government of Jamaica today, is addressing that matter. We're just asking the resident to just hold some more with us, because it is coming where water will be running through your pipe every minute of the day.
Clark was the Deputy House Speaker in the last Parliament, while Allen was a Shadow Tourism Minister. Carla Ramdeen, CVM News.
While the vibrancy of politics was on full display in St. Elizabeth Southwestern today, as the JLP's Floyd Green and the PNP's Miranda Wellington were officially nominated. Supporters turned the day into a celebration, bursting with music, dance and energy. Raymond Morrison takes us there.
It was nothing short of high energy in St. Elizabeth Southwestern, a nomination day that looked and felt like a street party. And if the bikes weren't revved up at any other rally, they were out and ready at the constituency on Monday during nominations. With a color block array from both parties, it is clear that election 2025 is in full swing. Leading the JLP supporters, incumbent Member of Parliament Floyd Green says representation must be rooted in the parish itself.
From St. Right, that's important. I think it has helped me. And I think any candidate that puts themselves up in the parish has to at least come from the parish, because you have to know the value system, the needs, how they operate. I think that is important. But I have faced two candidates now. Both were sons of the soil. Now I face a lady of the soil. But for me, it's not about the candidate on the other side. It has never been about the candidate on the other side.
On the PNP side, Miranda Wellington turned heads as she was nominated, making history as the first woman to contest the seat, or, as she puts it, her story.
It has been the most exciting, the most challenging, but the most rewarding. This has been a momentous occasion, the first female to be nominated in Southwest St. Elizabeth. So we are writing her story here, and this is also, the team here is a reflection of the youth mixed with the experience, mixed with the new vision that we have for this constituency.
With flags, chants, and supporters of both parties flooding the streets, Monday was a reminder that politics in this constituency is as much about spirit as it is about the ballot. From music and movement to bold declarations, St. Elizabeth Southwestern set the tone Monday. Come September 3, voters will decide whether Floyd Green holds his seat or Miranda Wellington makes her story. Raymond Morrison, CVM News.
Nomination day also saw both the People's National Party's Donovan Mitchell and Jamaica Labour Party incumbent Rhoda Crawford formally entering the race for Manchester Central with the September 3 general election weeks away. Both candidates are already trading barbs while laying out their visions for the constituency. Zor Grant has the details.
Donovan Mitchell, who was nominated earlier on Monday, said the coming weeks will be spent on the road engaging voters across the constituency. He declared that once the ballots are counted, Manchester Central will have a PNP representative.
The next few weeks is on the road every day, 24 hours a day, touching base with the constituents. After the 3rd of September or on the night of the 3rd of September, Central Manchester will have a PNP MP delivering to them quality representation that they're used to.
He also added that his campaign is focused on issues such as water access for residents, though details of those plans are still being finalized.
Persons in a certain age group, which you know they are our strongest supporters, like within the 50 age group going up, they stayed home. Some people stayed home, but this time, rain, sunshine, COVID, whatever it is, every single People's National Party supporter will be out voting on the 3rd of September.
But JLP's Rhoda Moore Crawford pushed back, describing this as her most successful campaign to date. She said her record speaks for itself, highlighting road repairs and community projects carried out since taking office.
This campaign is even much better because now the people saw what I promised, I've delivered on those promises, delivered even more. So now we have an even larger support base. The road infrastructure has seen significant improvement. Never before has any member of parliament been able to repair more than 40 roads in one single term.
Crawford also pointed to her work on the Greater Mandeville Water Improvement System, describing it as a historic investment that has brought progress to the constituency.
Manchester and Manchester Central have always suffered from lack of water, adequate water supply. I am very satisfied with the level of representation I have been able to bring to the constituency and the parish. As we speak, we're almost at the end of the Greater Mandeville Water Improvement System, a multi-billion-dollar system. We've never seen anything like that in recent history.
She closed by expressing confidence that her record will secure her a second term.
What I'm feeling and seeing on the ground, my support now is even stronger than it was in 2020. I am very confident of victory.
Zogrand reporting for CVM News.
JLP and PNP supporters in Eastern Hanover came out in their numbers to light up the streets for their candidates. Here's Giselle Mills with that report.
Sitting Member of Parliament for Eastern Hanover Jamaica Labour Party, Dave Brown, nominated at 10:30 a.m. Brown was accompanied by a massive crowd of supporters as he made his way to the polling station. Despite the show of support, Brown is however reluctant to make any bold predictions, but remains optimistic about his chances.
In all fairness, I make a prediction in 2020 and I double that. I really don't want to predict this time around. I realize that this election will be a much closer election, but I think I should win.
When asked about retiring, Dave Brown had this to say.
I am doing a term-by-term assessment. I will have to make that decision based on, how the people see it.
Brown says if returned as Member of Parliament for the constituency, he will fulfill his vision by completing projects already underway. Meanwhile, the People's National Party's first female candidate to represent Eastern Hanover, Andrea Perkis, is all smiles as she completed her nomination. Perkis could create history in the constituency if she unseats sitting Member of Parliament Dave Brown. She expressed her gratitude towards the community of Cascade Hanover as she noticed they were out in their numbers.
I feel the support, I feel the love, and I can see the look on the faces of the Eastern Hanoverians that they're ready for change, they're ready for proper representation, and they're ready for Perkis.
She is committed to representing her constituency and fixing the issue, especially faced by the youth.
I will be focusing on the roads, the water situation is at crisis level. But I also want to place focus on the young people in Eastern Hanover. They're disenfranchised. They have nowhere to go. I've gone through the communities and the young people socially, they're suffering. So that is also an area that I plan to place focus on.
Giselle Mills, CVM TV.
CVM News at 7 continues after these.
Let's spread the word around to let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We are on the road to republic. Well then, let's propel we nation moving forward in a new direction. True independence, that's the projection. No more dependency, it's the best plan. Yes, we know what's best for us, cause we want we country prosperous. So make we just pull together as the general public while on the road to republic. Let's spread the word let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We are the road to republic.
A message from the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
We are the road to republic.
The following is paid for by the People's National Party.
If you work long hours to keep Jamaica running, you deserve to take home every cent you earn. For too long, our police officers, firefighters, security guards, and hospitality workers have been taxed on their overtime and gratuities. That ends with the next PNP government. We will remove taxes from overtime pay and service charges. Because if you give more, you should keep more. You put in the extra work. You go beyond the call of duty. Your sacrifice should be rewarded, not taxed. It is time for fairness. It is time for respect. Jamaica, time come for a better life.
The proceeding was paid for by the People's National Party.
When we are working together, it put you in a good mood. Every moment you share is finger licking good.
The time by KFC is...
Thanks so much for staying with us. Continuing on nomination day over in St. Catherine, too close to call. Electors are gearing up for a tight race in the St. Catherine Southeastern and East Central constituencies. Win or lose, the party faithful are standing firmly. Amoy Harriet was in the parish.
Decision 2025 may be weeks away, but politics is already center stage in the swing seats of St. Catherine. Supporters turned the streets of St. Catherine Southeastern and St. Catherine East Central into a sea of green and orange. From the old,
Dr. Daz, I would know him about win.
And even the young. Some supporters rode to the nomination centers to endorse their candidates. Others rolled in. St. Catherine Southeastern is proving to be one of the seats to watch closely. Prior to 2020, the seat was a People's National Party stronghold held for nearly 3 decades. But things took a turn after the JLP's current candidate, Robert Big Rob Miller, won the seat in the 2020 general election. He's confident he will retain it.
Believe it or not, we're coming out in full force in this election because everybody has seen the performance, they have seen the work that I've done over 3 decades of the opposition ruling this constituency. They have never seen so many work in 4 or 5 years. If you ask my opponent for one plan that he's taking to the table of Southeast St. Catherine, he's continuously saying that he's going to remodel community centers. Community centers are the jurisdiction of the local authority.
His opponent is the PNP's candidate, Dr. Alfred Dawes.
We're going to end the 5 years of a disjointed government where residents are told that this project, this road, this drain, this gully, this park to be debush is the business of the council and the parish council and not the MP. The MP is only responsible for 3 roads. What I'm saying to the citizens of Southeast St. Catherine is that you will have a join-up government. Well, there will be no councillor road or MP road, no councillor drain or MP drain. There will be a Southeast drain. The government, no matter how much they have rolled out their projects, they have spent billions of dollars. They have been buying votes through these 50,000 and 20,000 giveaways. And even then, their numbers are flat. They are 30 and 29%. So they are not convincing anyone. The PNP has traditionally been held to a higher standard. So I'm not worried about unfavorability ratings because we have nothing to be measured by as a party in opposition. But what we can tell you is that the government's unfavorability ratings have not improved because nothing that they're doing is finding favor with the electorate.
In neighboring St. Catherine East Central, the battle is just as neck and neck. The JLP's Alondo Terrelong and the PNP's Raymond Price are facing off for a second time. Mr. Terrelong won the last election. And if Monday's show of backing is any indication, this political rematch could swing either way. Mr. Price insists The only reason his opponent won the last match was because of a low voter turnout on the part of the PNP as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic.
This time around, therefore, we don't have the ugly green arm of an administration manipulating the democratic process under the guise of COVID lockdown. We have become part of the organic fabric of East Central St. Catherine. We're gonna lead. We're gonna road.
Mr. Terrelong rejected Mr. Price's remarks.
I would prefer if the media did not ask me questions about this particular individual. This individual is a political reject who got a chance to be a member of parliament in St. Elizabeth and with such poor presentation that the people of St. Elizabeth kicked him out like common trash. All right? And so we don't want any recycled garbage or recycled trash coming to Portmore. The people of Portmore sent a message to him in 2020 and they will be sending another message again in 2025. You can hear this behind me. It's one Terrelong.
So today's nomination activities in St. Catherine were relatively incident-free. But if today's events are anything to go by, it's safe to say that this election, general election, come September, will be one to watch, especially the parish of St. Catherine, which has for years been recognized as a swing parish, in particular the constituencies of Southeastern and East Central. Reporting from St. Catherine for CVM News, I am Amoy Harriet.
Mortgages is banned for the job.
Of course, we will continue our extended nomination day coverage in subsequent newscasts. But for now, it's over to regional and international news.
We begin with news in the region. Around 100 people marched from Kensington Oval to Independence Square this morning in protest of the Interception of Communications Bill 2025, specifically a section that allows warrantless wiretapping. Dr. Ferdinand Nichols warned against an erosion of rights with the new legislation, as we hear from the nation Barbados.
This bill seeks to give the law authorities the right to intercept and tap your systems, your phones, everything to do with you. However, practically, this bill gives unfettered control to law enforcement without a prior warrant. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not something that you can ignore. This is something that you must pay attention to. Why are we saying this? If a member of parliament has admitted to the fact that wiretapping has gone on in this country for years now, what he has in essence done is admitting to the fact that law enforcement have been illegally accessing your information.
Crafting the region's response to another global health scare is the focus of a 3-day workshop organised by the Caribbean Public Health Agency CARPHA in collaboration with the United Kingdom Health Security Agency. TTT News has that report.
Regional and international health sector personnel are gathered in Trinidad and Tobago to improve the way the Caribbean reacts to the next public health crisis. Minister of Health, Dr. Lakram Bodo, says a threat anywhere in the region is a threat everywhere.
An emergency response plan will be developed to anticipate and address a full spectrum of potential medical crises, from natural hazards and oil spills to emerging and re-emerging infectious diseases. And this is the commitment of the government I represent. In public health, proactiveness is invaluable. It is the difference between managing a contained incident and battling a full-scale emergency.
The health minister added that the ministry has